Want more of me? Who doesn't? Subscribe to the Volume YouTube channel today. The way it always works, the smaller the town or the community, generally the easier the press is. You go to a big city, Atlanta, Dallas, Philly, New York, Boston, San Francisco, the media is tougher because the media isn't beholden to a single team. I mean, in Los Angeles, you got 2 NFL, 2 NBA, 2 soccer, 2 baseball. You know, sports talk show hosts don't worry about alienating a certain team. You can just move on to the second team, USC, UCLA. It doesn't matter. You get into small towns, college towns, like you get the yield sign by the sports information department at a college. They yank your pass. You can't get into practice. And so Green Bay is the smallest pro market in America. And most of the press with the Packers is pretty favorable through the years. I laugh. Packer fans are treated like high school or college fans with a media that very rarely brings the hammer. So I said on the show Monday on The Herd, I said, Jordan Love's a bust. It didn't take more than a half to know Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert were great. I can remember when Patrick Mahomes came into the league and was sitting on the bench. Peter Schrager was telling me that Andy Reid told him that Mahomes was literally going to be an MVP of the league. Like, you can see talent. I always use these musical shows, The Voice, American Idol. You can tell, a couple of lyrics in, lounge singer, hack, or star potential. So Jordan Love started 3 years at Utah State. Pretty weak schedule. He had a great sophomore year, 32 touchdowns, 6 picks. But in the 2 other years, his freshman and junior years, he was erratic, struggled with accuracy. He got kind of busted his last year for possession of pot. My GMs didn't love him. They thought he was wild, not overly accurate. Could move around, but they didn't see him as an elite, like, first-round talent. Packers make the run on him, move up, get him in the draft. Passing, by the way, on Michael Pittman, Gabriel Davis, T. Higgins, multiple really good wide receivers, Van Jefferson, and right now the Packers are dying for wide receiver talent. But they don't draft receivers in the first round. They just don't. I don't think they've done it in 20 years. You can look it up, but I think it's 20 years. So you look at Jordan Love this weekend, 50% completion rate, most of the snaps against the Saints. All I hear is this. Well, you're not watching the games. He had a lot of drops. Every quarterback has drops. 2019 to 2021. Here's the list. Here are the quarterbacks who had the most passes dropped. Number 1, Tom Brady. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Also in the top 10, Big Ben, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, and Dak Prescott. Every quarterback has dropped passes. When you watch Jordan Love, it's the stuff out in the flat, the easy stuff, layups for franchise quarterbacks. He's missing badly. If you can't tell after 3 years, 50% completion against the Saints backups, he's not the guy. But again, Green Bay mostly has a more complimentary media. It's not a criticism. It's a small town. It's a tiny town. College towns are the same way. The media errs on the side of complimentary. They don't have the fangs of a Philly, Boston, a Denver media, Dallas, Atlanta, the Bay Area. So, talent is not hard to spot. I've been building the volume now for a year and a half, and I get sent podcast after podcast after podcast, tape after tape after tape. The average time I have to listen to go, that's really good, under 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long. So 3 years in with Jordan Love, somebody who struggled 2 of his 3 years in college with accuracy, it's not going to work. He could be a backup. He could be a bridge. I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. And the other thing is, when you're constantly babying a player. He's way better than last year. He's come a long way. I think the criticism is unjust. Nobody defends Burrow, Kyler Murray. Nobody's defending the great quarterbacks. You got it or you don't. I mean, if you can't spot certain things, I can't help you. But the idea that it's the dropped passes from Jordan Love. Oh, give me a break. 2019, 2021. Total drop passes. Brady, Allen, Mahomes, Big Ben, Stafford, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, who made a Super Bowl. The great quarterbacks, they throw a lot. Their coaches trust them. A lot of passes dropped. It's the way it works. So there was a play this week between the Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals in preseason where Kayvon Thibodeaux, the Giants defensive end from Oregon, big personality, big talent, pass rusher, got blocked. And there was a lot of outrage, which I'm just over on the internet, period, that it was dirty. There should be a suspension. Listen, offensive lineman defended the block. Damian Woody knows more than any of you about blocking, defended the block. Defensive players thought it was outrageous, violated rules. Media similarly, some were outraged. Others, this is indignantly demanding acceptance of the block. My takeaway is, let's go either way. It's not worth outrage. Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to continue to play in the NFL. It's the NFL. It's violent. It's a regulated level of violence, but in the trenches, it's still ugly. I mean, just look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've lost. Tristan Wirfs is out with an oblique injury. They just lost a guard for the season. They've already lost a center for the season. One of their best offensive linemen, Ali Marpet, just retired at the top of his game. This is what football is. Bang, bang, world's best athletes. It's not worth the outrage. Offensive linemen defend it. Defensive players think it's cheap. The media. Why do we always have to have strong opinions on things that could go either way? That's where people are losing trust in the media, when you have to have a defiant opinion on something that's not really definitive. I look at it and I thought some refs would throw a flag, some guys would be offended, some wouldn't. I didn't think it was necessarily dirty, but I thought it was kind of close, and some people would be bothered by it. But you don't always need to have a strong opinion on every play or on every sports or political moment. Some stuff is,